people. Welcome to Fix Your Face podcast, conversation, whatever you choose to call it. We're here today with some interesting commentary on some social events that are taking place in and around the city, in and around the nation, and even in and around the globe. So we want you to stay tuned. We've got some hot topics this morning to talk about. So let's dig in. All right, this first topic, story, definitely deserves a face. And right now I'm still the jury is still out for me as to which face it deserves because my emotions were really caught up in this story. So South Carolina versus UConn in the Final Four of the playoffs. Dawn Staley against Geno. Help me out, producer. Ariema? Ariema. That's what we're going to go with. Geno A. Producer's like, Geno. So Dawn Staley and Geno had a little tense moment, a little confrontation after South Carolina win. What in the world could have caused a little confrontation after this win, except for the attitude of just pure outright being a sore loser? But Mr. Geno doesn't paint that picture. Mr. Geno has apologized. However, we're going to get into the apology. Let's look at this. So Dawn Staley, as you know, is the head coach of the University of South Carolina. She's a head coach of the women's basketball team. And she is one of the most influential figures in basketball today, okay? Especially women's basketball. She's a former WNBA star herself, a three-time Olympic gold medalist as a player, and she became one of the most successful coaches in NCAA history. That within itself, all her list of accolades, that within itself deserves a face. We are so proud of you, Dawn. So under her leadership, South Carolina they've won multiple national championships. They've produced WNBA stars, and I think some of the stars that came out of her coaching are, no, I'm not going to get any help from my producers, so let me see. Zaya Cook, Tiffany Mitchell, Sanaya Fegan. Those are just some of the players. Probably pronounced their name wrong, but just stay with me, work with me this morning. But she's produced some powerful players. That's my point, is that she's produced some power. She has demanded respect just based off of her career, her knowledge of the game, her professionalism. She demands respect. And she's worthy of it. So what happened is during the Final Four, apparently there's always been that South Carolina UConn tension. We can agree with that, right? There's always been that little tension there, okay? And so what happened is South Carolina defeated UConn in the Final Four. And it was a tense moment. And so the tension between Geno and Dawn appears to have boiled over during this 2026 Final Four game. And Geno apparently was frustrated with a no call and exchanged words with Dawn Staley, okay? He got frustrated because of some of the referee calls, or rather no calls during the game. He's frustrated with Dawn, not the referees. He's frustrated with Dawn. And he's also frustrated because traditionally when the game starts, everybody comes out, they shake hands. Apparently, according to Mr. Geno, Dawn did not follow the proper protocol and shake his hand. In other words, she did not behave or do what he expected her to do. And so that produced frustration. Isn't that just so, I don't even know what the word is. When people get frustrated because you don't do what they expect that person to do, when you don't follow protocol or tradition or what have you. So she broke protocol, and she did not shake his hand as he anticipated or expected her to. So the video, he confronts her after the loss. After the game, he confronts her when she goes to shake his hand. He obviously did not say congratulations on a great win. He confronted her with her breaking protocol and not shaking his hand at the beginning of the game. Not sure what was said, but the video shows Dawn responding, leading to a brief sideline confrontation. And Geno, he later apologized. We're going to talk about that apology here in a second. He later apologized, saying Staley deserved better. And their rivalry and their programs continues to intensify. The South Carolina went on to enter the championship game, but took a loss later on. But competitive fire versus disrespect is what we're looking at here, okay? The long history between the two legendary coaches did not warrant this type of behavior. Did not warrant his response. It did not warrant him confronting her after such a powerful win. That was a celebratory time. That was a time where he should have clearly just congratulated her, maybe have a sidebar conversation with her about coaching protocol, what have you. Very inappropriate. Let's look at the clip real quick. Let's take a look at the clip.
Now to the drama and disrespect. The post-game dust-up between Dawn and Geno, the two getting heated after the Gamecock win. Staley having to be separated from Auriemma. Geno apparently miffed about a formal pre-game handshake at mid-court, even though Staley shook hands with everyone on the UConn staff, including Geno, pre-game. And then there was the Sarah Strong ripped jersey, though Strong herself admitted she ripped her own jersey. In the end, Staley took the high road.
You can ask Geno the question, He's the one that initiated the conversation. I don't want, what happened there to dampen what we were able to accomplish.
Wanting to apologize to Staley and the Gamecocks for the incident, saying there was no excuse for his conduct and, quote, it was uncalled for in how I reacted. The story should be about how well South Carolina played, and I don't want my actions to detract from that.
All right, let's take a quick pause, though, because I want to point out something in this apology. He said, there's no excuse for how I handled the end of the game versus South Carolina. It's unlike what I do and what our standard is here at Connecticut. I want to apologize. Look at who he's apologizing to, though. He said, I want to apologize. I want to apologize to the staff and to the team of South Carolina. It was uncalled for in how I reacted. The story should be how well South Carolina played, and I don't want my actions to detract from that. I've had a great relationship with their staff, and I certainly want to apologize to them. Let's just pause and take a second here to acknowledge that Mr. Geno apologized to the staff and to the team, the South Carolina team itself. But what he did not do is he did not make a formal apologize to Dawn Staley herself. That's who the confrontation was with. And I love in the live interview, I love how he made a very feeble attempt to try to deflect, to try to not take responsibility by saying, drawing everyone in the audience into the conversation or into the confrontation, by saying, we all know the tradition. You come out, you meet out at half court, and we shake hands. Don't we all know that? Trying to get buy-in to justify his poor behavior and never apologize to Dawn. I think that speaks a lot about his character, and that definitely deserves a face. That speaks a lot about his character that he did not make a formal apology to Dawn. But Dawn, being the professional that she is, being the woman of exceptional character, like the clip said, she took the high road. She chose not to respond, when she had an opportunity to respond during the press, in front of the press and the media. She said, that's the questions you're going to have to ask Geno. In other words, what she's saying is, I can't speak for his character. Only he can. How's that, Mr. Geno? Unacceptable. He was upset because he believed Staley had not properly shaken his hand before the game, and he also had been frustrated throughout the game with the officials. Took it out on Dawn, but yet did not extend a formal apology to her. There's a lot that could be said there. And I'm not going to play the race card, as I'm sure some of you are expecting me to do. I'm not going to play the gender card, as I'm sure some of you are expecting me to do. But I am going to play the common courtesy card. That in a case like this, an apology to Dawn is absolutely owed. This deserves a face, Geno. You are definitely deserves a face. What do you guys think? Chime in and let me know. All right. Let's turn to the local church for just a hot second to look at this next story, and you make the determination whether your countenance, whether your face can be fixed on this one. So recently, Bishop Marvin Sapp wed Laboris, I believe her name is Laboris, Dr. Laboris, I don't want to be disrespectful. They were wed, and apparently, Dr. Laboris Sapp is her name. They were recently wed and had some extravagant type wedding, as most couples do. Nothing out of the norm there. Just had a fabulous wedding, and that's a special day for them, as they should. It should be tailored to their liking, to their desire. So apparently, the church to which Bishop Marvin Sapp pastors began to spread rumors. And the rumors were, and criticism circulating about their marriage and their wedding expenses being paid for by the church. So that's what church people do. That's what church folk do. Not the saved. I'm talking about the local church. That's what church folk do. They speculate, and sometimes they spread rumors and gossip. So apparently, the new Mrs. Sapp, Dr. Laboris Sapp, was not having it. So in her first appearance on Sunday morning, I believe this was a Resurrection Sunday morning, her first time addressing the congregation, and she went in, and she had some things to say. Now, the first thing that deserves a face is like, what were you thinking? This is your first time gracing the pulpit in front of the congregation to which you are going to help support your husband to pastor. This is the first time you address the congregation. And the first time that you address the congregation, you feel that you need to respond to a rumor, criticism. Where is the spiritual maturity? Where is the grace? Where is the love? You just got married, and she's now going to address the congregation. And she didn't address the congregation in what I perceive or interpret as a warm, thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you. I'm just looking forward to supporting my husband in this journey in ministry. Nope. Mrs. Sapp, she came with it. She was upset. And not to justify the rumors and the criticism that floats around by the church members, not to justify that. But there's a time and a place for everything. And the pulpit, once again, is not the place to take out your personal frustrations to the people. Just because you got the microphone, it's not the place. People are hurting. People come looking to be given hope in this crazy, chaotic world that we're living in. And what do they get? I'm sure they got I don't know if this was, let me clean this up. I don't know if this, her address was before, after the sermon. Regardless, the point is that by the time she spoke, in my opinion, whatever, if it was after the sermon, you have totally quenched the spirit. Anybody that was gonna leave there with hope, their spirit has now been quenched because she decides to take this personal, this opportunity to make a personal statement toward the new congregation that she's going to be engaged with. Let's take a second. I want you to look at this clip with me. And
much for taking all of me,
face.
All that came with me. Ministry, goofy, loud, happy, loving. I appreciate you. Despite what the haters on the internet say about you, you are an integral man. You don't take or rob the church. The church didn't pay for the wedding. Y'all stop lying. God's been good to me. Y'all stop that. Y'all stop the devil, you are defeated. Yeah. Saying all these lies about the man of God. I bought the helicopter. He didn't buy the helicopter. Let's make that straight while we screaming. Y'all stop lying. Stop it. Everybody not broke. And everybody don't need the church's money to pay. God's been good, y'all. I just don't look good. But I have surrendered my life to God. And he's blessed me with multiple streams of income, as well as the bishop. He has multiple streams of income outside the church. When he wasn't getting paid here, God still blessed him. God still blessed. So y'all go and record and tell that.
A surrendered life to God understands scripture, and not only understands it, but lives by it. In his words, God, be a guard over my mouth and watch the door of my lips. It's amazing how people profess to be, I just live such a surrendered life to God, but you can't govern your emotions or your feelings. You can't govern your mouth. So let's back up a second. So Bishop Marvin Sapp, for those of you that are not connected to the church, or I don't even want to say not connected to the church, but this arena or this Bishop Marvin Sapp, he is a gospel singer. He's a pastor, songwriter, and he's best known for powerful hits like Never Would Have Made It, and he saw the best in me. And before his solo career, he was a member of the gospel group called Commissioned. And he founded and is the senior pastor of the Chosen Vessel Cathedral in Fort Worth, Texas. He had previously co-founded Lighthouse Full Life Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So Bishop Sapp is widely known. And he's also the bishop that not too long ago was in the highlights of social media, directing the ushers to hold the doors because it was offering time. I don't know the full context, so I can't speak to it, but he was the one that told the ushers, I said, hold the doors. In other words, shut the doors. We're about to go into offering. This is the context. This is the setting. I'm not trying to make any type of judgment, but they were going into an opportunity for the congregants to either make an offering of some sort, and I guess people were beginning to leave, and he told the ushers to hold the doors. That within itself deserves a face, but we won't address that. But he was recently in the spotlight for that, and now he has this beautiful bride, and Dr. Labora's just addressed the rumors that the church funded her wedding. And I just want to say this from as a Christian and as a leader in the body of Christ. I believe that her actions were very inappropriate. Very inappropriate. There is a time and a place. Again, I don't know the setting. This could have been after church. It appeared to be during the worship service itself. We gather, we come together to worship God. People are broken. People are hurting. People just want to be around. We've been around the world all week long. And so when we come together with like-minded believers, we want that fellowship in Christ Jesus. People don't want to be scathed. People don't want to be run over the coals because the First Lady believes that the rumors and the criticisms, they're attacking her and her new husband regarding a helicopter. She stated from the pulpit that she paid for it and paid for everything herself, including the helicopter interest. And there's nothing wrong with that. She want to have a helicopter. This is her big wedding day. Have a helicopter. See if you can't get Air Force One to bring you in, or just do whatever you want to do on your special day. But when it comes to addressing criticism and rumors, we have to approach these things with a level of maturity. And it's interesting that we just had the Dawn Staley, story. It's interesting to note that in a moment of confrontation, in a moment where Dawn Staley, who I don't know if she's connected to the church or not, I don't know. But she demonstrated a character that was spot on. And here we have in the church a response to rumors and criticism that was not so quite spot on. Okay. The clip itself went viral due to her very bold delivery, her first time in front of her congregation. And many supporters praised her for her transparency, but critics questioned the timing and the setting, and I stand on side of the critics. The moment sparked a broader conversation about pastors' lifestyles and church optics. Transparency versus oversharing in church settings is one of the topics, is one of the, you got to take that into consideration. Be transparent. If this is how you feel, then there's nothing wrong with sharing it, but it's the timing and the setting. So, Dr. Marvin Sapp, you deserve a face. You deserve a face. All right. Let's shift a little bit. Can we go in a different direction just a little bit? Let's have a little chit chat and talk about and see what kind of face we're going to leave on this controversy swirling around Chile. The artist being criticized is Rosanda Chile Thomas from the girl group TLC. T-Ball's Left Eye in Chile. So the controversy is apparently, keep me straight, producer, that Chile made a donation to one of the organizations, one of the Trump-aligned organizations. She made three organizations she made donations to. Okay. Got it. 3 organizations. And so we all know that there's a lot of people, great populace in our country right now, that's not really pleased with our present administration, with our president. There's a lot of people that aren't pleased with him right now. So there was some federal campaign records that resurfaced showing that she made donations to Donald Trump aligned groups. Okay. So she believed that she was making donations, and what was the total again? $900 contribution. $897.14 contribution. She thought that she was making this contribution to a veterans organization. That's a good cause. We can agree on that, right? That's a good cause. Can everybody agree, get out a good face? We can agree on that. And she said she did not directly contribute to a political campaign. And so she adamantly denied that she's not a MAGA, Make America Great Again, or a Trump supporter. Okay? So the controversy exploded just as TLC had announced its new, its iconic. TLC is touring with Salt and Pepper in this tour. It's iconic. The tour is called It's Iconic. This iconic tour, they just announced it. And TLC is touring with Salt and Pepper and In Vogue. So they're very, again, iconic girl groups. And so they had collaborated. They're doing this tour. And right when they're doing this tour, isn't it just interesting how all of a sudden this information about Chile resurfaces? So a lot of fans believe that they said that they plan to boycott the tour. Now, this is where the faces really come in. They said they plan on boycotting the tour because Miss Chile donated to the Trump, or they accusing her of donating to the Trump MAGA movement. And others are standing up to defend her and said that artists should not be canceled over political views. And I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to put this right out there. I agree with the latter. That while we do not support their behaviors, people can still listen to their music, still support that. Now, I don't do secular world music anymore anyway, but it just rubbed me the wrong way because let me take you back a little bit. Here's one. Many, many years ago, there was this artist named Rick James. And he was accused of just being a womanizer, of beating women, just violent behavior toward women. And I don't know, I don't even remember if it's true or not, but one of his alleged victims was Tina Marie herself. But Rick James didn't get canceled. He did not. And I'm not making light of any type of controversial lifestyle of any artist. But I believe that it's a little extreme when we try to put demands on artists because of their political views. You want them, or you want their whole tour to be canceled because of a donation that she made. That's her personal political view. That's her choice, even if she did support the MAGA movement, even if she was a supporter. What does that have to do with the quality of music and the tour itself that she is participating in with Salt and Pepper and In Vogue? We really need to think about because look at it like this. We, and I'm just going to put this out here, African Americans, it seems to me that we oftentimes get frustrated when people try to put demands on us because we don't act a certain way, or we don't respond a certain way, or we don't look a certain way. So now we want to put demands on our own because she's not behaving in the manner that we expect or anticipate or would like for her to behave. We are putting demands on her because she has a choice to support this, and because her choice doesn't align with, the populace choice, we want to cancel her tour. We want to cancel the tour. Why can't we just enjoy the tour and let Chile have her own personal political view? And again, some people are planning to boycott the tour for that specific reason. The backlash has become a bigger story specifically because of this tour. Like, to me, it's just how in the world that the timing of this donation comes up right when she's ready to take a tour or go on tour. So I want to know your thoughts on this. What do you think about it? Does it deserve a face? Is much of the populace in the right or in error? What are your thoughts on it? That's going to be a wrap for today's topics. I hope that you will join us back on our next conversation as we look into just some things that's going on in our society that deserve a face. Your First Amendment rights have not been taken away from you, but sometimes when you can't say it, your face certainly can speak it. That's it. I'm Deanna Fountain Breeden. I'm your host for today. You all have an amazing balance of your day.